And what is your time?
All right. Thank you so much, Kris, for hopping on. I'm excited. Kind of bummed we didn't get to do this while we were at the beach, but also glad that we got to do this now, so my crew had more time to get questions in.
I'm excited. Hi, guys.
So we've got a couple questions. We're not going to get everyone's questions in, but I wanted to start out with, what is the number one activity someone who wants to earn an income in this business should be doing in their business now?
Okay, I love that question. Key being earn an income. I think you're probably all here because you want to earn an income. This is the job. So, the one thing that on really a lot of different levels, just flat earning an income is partying. I mean, that's how you can control your income and that's how you can make money immediately. I mean, you can book a party right now for a few days from now, especially if you're online partying, or honestly, even if you're in home, you can say you get something booked and that's going to be your income. So that's the immediate like earned income. And then if you have big dreams for this job, everything still ties to that party because that's where you're going to be able to grow the big income with team. And the way that our business model works, you need to be in front of people to be adding team members and growing your team for your check to go up in that way. So really everything comes back to the party and income. I mean, that's how it goes.
I mean, kind of like what we say, you don't have a business if you don't have parties.
Yeah,
Everything
and
comes
you don't
back
have
to
an
that.
income. You also don't have an income. Like you can earn like individual sales here and there. Don't get me wrong. That's the beauty of, I have sales coming in all the time now from building a business and having a customer base, but that came from partying. The smartest way to work our business and to make an income is partying. The most money you can make in the beginning is partying. It's much easier to go to a party for a couple hours than sit and meet someone and talk about a basic pack and have lunch, one person, right? Like our plan is geared around partying, and Norwex happens to give you a whole bunch of free stuff to help you do that. So, the hosting plans. So yeah.
Yeah, I love the time saver of having a format that works to reach multiple people all at the same time. It's effective, it's concise, it saves time. I think it's really smart.
And they're giving the marketing budget, like they're giving you what you need to do that. It's amazing. A lot of companies don't do that. You have to come up with. Now, granted, we can do incentives, but they're giving you over 100, 150, $200 sometimes in product to say, hey, we're going to give you this. You go out and get parties and share our mission and our product. And oh, by the way, we'll pay you too. So it's just, to me, makes so much sense. But yeah.
I love it. Here's a good one. If you were to restart today as a new consultant, what would you do differently and what would you do the same?
This is such a good one. I find myself asking this question about things when I'm looking at something new. I always am thinking that way. What can I learn from you? Um, to head things off. So what I would say is that, as far as, should I start with what I would do differently? I'm going to say what I would do. What I would do really is what I did, but why I did it is because I had a push. So I think the beauty of what I had in the beginning is I had, at the time, a husband who had lost his job, and I had a huge need for income that was immediate and panicky and scary. And there was really kind of no choice in a way. And so that helped me, because literally what I did is I jumped in and I went kind of what I just said to you guys in the last question. If you want to make income, like guaranteed right now, if you go and book 4 parties in the next month, you're going to make on average $800. Like what job, like literally guaranteed, that we know that this works. So when I joined, I was like, I didn't know I was doing the right thing. It's not like I went, in this business model, what is the smart thing to do? Like that wasn't where I was like, what do I do to make money so that we can pay our mortgage? That's where I was at. Urgent now, panic. And when I looked at how to do that, it was like, well, wait, every party I do, I can guaranteed make this money. I'm going to book as many parties as I can, like right now, because we need the money. And that's all I focused on. That was my only focus because of what my family needed. But that was exactly the right thing to do. Whether you need the money, whether you just want to be, everyone watching this, you guys, if you're taking time to watch it, you want to be successful in this business. I'm going to make that leap. Okay. So if you want to be successful in the business, book a whole bunch of parties, and you may not need to pay your mortgage with it, or you may not have an urgent crisis like I had. But in the beginning I did. And I just happened to jump into that and have that be the key to success, even though I didn't know it. So I'm really, really grateful that I had that kind of urgency, that I didn't have a choice to, it was just like, boom, I need money, let's go. And that's what I did. So that is what, that's what I did, that I think I did right. What I wish I would have done differently, or what would have been wonderful, is to have all the knowledge that I have now about direct sales. Like, I didn't have the confidence in the business model. I thought, like, I took off getting started really well, because I started in, my launch party was November 9th, and I had January. So it's a blur with December. I did parties, but January I had 14 parties. Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, I was, because I literally was like, this is my answer to income right now. Like, if I do the work, this is guaranteed. And that just felt almost like too good to be true to me. Like, really, all I have to do is get my friends to book parties, and Norwex is going to give them all this stuff for free. And I'm guaranteed going to make the money that I need for my family. I felt like it was kind of a dream, and I was a little skeptical, but as I jumped into January and started to see this is like literally working, I was skeptical, and I was like, you know what, it's great right now, but it's not going to last. And I even had my accountant early on say, oh, this is like one of those balloon companies that, like, you do well, and there's a name for it, like, and then they fall apart, and it's not sustainable, and it's not something that you can trust with your family. And for my personality, that was hard. And it took energy from me, and it made me question, and it didn't give me a heart of all in, and really probably what I could have felt in the beginning when I was signing people up, or, I wasn't able to pass on like the future legacy of what this really is at that point.
Mhm.
And I regret that. I wish I could have wholeheartedly had confidence and gone, oh my goodness, like, this is all that I think it is. I get to live that and be free in that and be happy in that. I mean, I didn't spend a dime the minute my ex-husband got a job, the minute he was working, I saved every penny knowing it was going to go away. Like, I didn't count on and I was so skeptical. So if you're sitting here and you feel that, or you're like, it's not worth really pouring a lot into this because I don't know if it's going to last, or, it's not a real job, or, I mean, I did all these games in my head. I'm sure I'm not the only one. So if you're sitting here and you're feeling that way, I'm telling you that this is my daughter's signed on. This is a legacy job. Norwex is going nowhere. Norwex is a debt-free company. Our world is going to need this. I'm 13 years in now. I've got a daughter who's just starting, who her old roommate just signed up to do this. I've got adult kids now who are having babies, that this next generation is coming in front of my eyes. I'm seeing what it is like. So if I can give you that you can fully, boldly be excited and see the future of this, that would have saved me way back when.
I was thinking about that too, because it took me 2.5 years into this to look around at a room of other senior leaders and think, maybe Norwex is big enough to handle my dreams. Like,
Yeah.
maybe I can relax into this and trust that this is good, and this is going to keep being good.
Of
But
course you
kind of
thought that
similar,
way,
like, it took me time to get there. And
because we're
man,
two peas in a pod and we think the same.
and what could have been possible if I'd caught that and understood that sooner? I don't know.
Right? That's my one, because everything key important wise, you guys, the key important thing is get your calendar as full as you can handle. Magic happens there. Like, I lived that, but yeah, wouldn't that have been amazing? So anyway,
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay, how do things change as you climb rank, as you promote through the company? How does your job change?
Man, this is such a good question that I get all the time. I've gotten for years. And honestly, that I wandered through and lived through. Because, we go through these, as you go up the ranks and you go through these promotion months, which are kind of crazy, and you pour everything into them. And it's the higher up in the ranks you go, the bigger, I think, the bigger the event of a promotion is, and you hit it and you sit there and then the first of the next month comes and you're like, well, that's over with. Now what? Now I'm a red jacket. Now I'm a VP. Now I'm an ESL. Like, well, now what? I'm the new level. And you wake up and you're like, well, okay, Nothing's changed. Here I am. I've got my same goals for next month. Um, I would say what changes, you have one of the coolest things that changes is you're influencing more people. So as you go up the ranks, you have more leaders. You've seen more people be changed by this business. You've gained friendships that have gotten deeper and grown immensely, right? Like as the years go and as you know, as I look at my level now and the senior leaders, some who were at the beach with me recently, like it's life-changing friendships. But as far as the day-to-day parts of the job, nothing changes. It's booking parties. Our job is there's a challenge in this, but I also think there's a huge blessing that has been something that I've been able to give people in my training and my mindset with this for a long time, which is the difficulty of this is that you are literally living Groundhog State. Like literally it's boom every single day. It's boringly consistent. How do you succeed here? You be boringly consistent. That's our job. The gift of this job is, how do you succeed here? All you have to do is be boringly consistent. It's like riding a bike. You can even have something happen in your life where you're like, I had to take a little bit of a break because so-and-so happened. How do I pick back up? Oh, you just hop back on the bike. Nothing different. I literally am doing the same demo that I did 13 years ago. And I am not kidding you guys. Like nothing has changed. The the Safe Haven 5, I could do it in my sleep. So it's both, right? As far as does your role change? No, it's doing the same things, but the blessings get sweeter. Your income goes up in ways. I remember being early on meeting with Debbie back in the day when I earned a trip and it was small enough that we could all go and have one-on-one time with her and Mike. And I was in a room in her suite, wherever it was, a cruise, I think, or no, it was Hawaii. And I said, you know, I hadn't been there that long. It was maybe 9 or 10 months in. And I said, you know what, Debbie, I feel like I put so much work in the beginning of this like so much work trying to learn how to do a party and, you know, feeling like I was going to throw up walking into those initial parties and not knowing anything, not knowing that you had to get bookings at parties, that really the party was just a place to go and try to get more bookings so that you could keep your business going. And then really that party was all about who you were going to meet to add to your team. And that really that party was all about who that leader was going to be of all the people that joined your team. Like I didn't know the business model, right? Way out there. But I remember saying to her, I feel like I've learned and put so much work into learning these basic things. And now it's gotten so much easier already. And my income's so much bigger. And I feel like I should be working harder because I'm making so much more money. And she just started laughing. And Mike said, welcome to direct sales. Because I was married at the time to someone who every time they got a promotion, they made a little bit more money and they worked a whole bunch more hours and added a whole bunch more stress to our family. So the thought that I was making incredibly more money and really not adding hours to my day, and it was shifting the focus, because the blessing of me saying that it's Groundhog's Day or whatever you want to call it, that you're doing the same thing, boringly consistent. The blessing of that is that we only have so much energy that we can give whatever each day. And so if I'm not giving energy anymore to doing parties, figuring out how to get bookings, you know, very quickly, it was like, I'm not scared to get bookings. I'm going to get bookings. Every party I do, I'm going to get bookings. I've learned that skill set. I know how to do it. I'm not scared if I'm going to recruit people. I know people are going to join. I know how to do that now. And I know how to share this opportunity. So the more I could throw my energy, like I didn't need to worry about that anymore because I learned to be boringly consistent. So then I had the energy to do a few new things as I promoted, but the hours never grew because I was throwing out some stuff so I could still work the same amount of hours. And that blew my mind that I could make more money increasingly without adding stress or workload or anything to my life. I'd never heard of anything like that before.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing. It still is to me.
Yeah, I actually was thinking about that with you talking about a promotion. And how in your family previously promotion always meant more time away from home, more effort, more stress, and yes, increase
Absolutely.
in pay, but you know, at what point does that balance out and actually is good compared to a promotion with this business where you promote, but the good things get better and the rest of it stays the same or gets easier. And I think about it, I worked harder in my first 6 months as a consultant than I ever have since.
Yeah, totally. That's what I'm saying. But look at your income. So
Right.
you keep making more money and you don't make a little bit more money. Like when you get promoted in corporate
It's
America, you
significant.
make significant more money and nothing really changes. So yeah, it's an amazing, can you guys tell that I like this job?
Well, on that note, how do you balance going for the yeses when there are so many no's along the way?
That's an easy one for me. It's what I talked to back in the beginning. It's learning the business model and learning the skill sets so that you don't put energy there anymore. So in the beginning, when I was getting all the no's, I was I back this is going to age me a little bit, but we did Evite in the beginning. When I was new, we did Evite. So it was email invitations and people would get an Evite. And I would and I am technology, like, still I'm not great with that. So I didn't know there were notifications and different things you could do. And so I would send my host her Evite. She would send it out, invite everybody. And if you don't know what this is, basically it's like you send an email out, people get invited, and then they can reply yes or no if they're coming to the party. And every time someone replied, well, you guys know your parties, you invite 30, 40, 50, and maybe 8 or 10 come if you're lucky, right? So most of those people are no's, right? So in the beginning, I would get all day long, I'm getting these emails, no, 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 so-and-so can't go to the party, so-and-so, because I would get the notifications on if people were coming or not to all the parties. I managed it. And to your question, that mindset of no, 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 all day long, I was getting really defeated and really down. And then I figured out I could go in and change the notifications and not see all of the no's coming in at all. So 2 things about that. How do I handle it? One, back in the day, early on, I learned to protect my mind, which you guys, if you've heard any of my trainings, I'm all about mindset. Mindset is key. So if you're having a hard time with no's, protect it where you can. Turn off the notifications if you need to, so you don't see them. If you're having a bad day, don't look at your parties and see, protect what you need to protect. But the more important message I want to tell you here is that as life has gone on now, I could handle Evite. I could have no's come in all day long and I wouldn't blink an eye, because I've learned now the business model, which is no's are part of the journey.
Mhm.
And honestly, I can say now, if I'm getting a whole bunch of no's, I really feel like, oh, there's a yes coming. I know it. I've learned the business. If you're not getting no's, you're not doing anything. That's the bottom line. You're not going to succeed. The people that are getting a bunch of no's, they're the ones that are the top of our career plan.
Right.
Like, the reason I'm here, guys, is because I probably have more no's than all of you combined on this team. That's why I'm here. So now I have power in that. And I go, yes, I got another no, because there's a yes coming.
Mhm.
It's the law of averages. If I reach out to enough people, I'm going to have a yes.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does, it does. And 2 things I would add to that being, 1, I signed up at a party with 1 guest.
Yeah.
That's significant. Like, and I always come back to that. Anytime a host feels bad that her party is going to be smaller, you know what? Size is not the most important thing. And you don't know where a party can take you, and you don't know where 1 yes, where that can go. And then I think about Wayne Gretzky, who's one of the best hockey players of all time, and his whole thing was, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
You don't take. That's right. And there's something very empowering when you tackle that, guys. Like, if that's a problem you have in your head, it is so empowering to be able to go, yes, I got another no, because I know what that means in my life. And this isn't just work. This is, it's everything. It's struggle. It's standing back up and going, we win when we do take that next step in pretty much everything. So that's what I would say. If you need to get your calendar booked right now, go for no, like literally go for however many no's you can get and celebrate every one you get, because there is a yes coming. That is our business model. That's how it works.
All right, I think we probably have time for one more question.
Okay.
And that would be top tips on saving time and keeping things easy.
Saving time and keeping things easy. I would say as a mentor and coach now, this might be the number one thing that I work with people on. And I would say this might apply more to leaders, although I don't know, but I'm going to say that it might apply more to leaders because it goes back to that question you asked me about how does the job change as you move up the ranks? It doesn't. So when you're new, what you should be focusing on is booking parties. And when you wake up in the morning, if your calendar is not where you want it to be for the goals that you have in your life, then the only thing you have business taking time doing that day is focusing on your calendar until it's where you want it to be. And then once it's where you want it to be, then really in the morning, the only thing you should wake up working on is how those parties are looking next week and the week after and the week after. And hostess coaching the heck out of them to make sure, treating them like gold, treating your hosts like gold, treating them with the value that they have in your business. So if your calendar is where it needs to be, and if you are having solid parties because of your hostess coaching skills that you've learned, then that's really what will carry you through that. That's really what you should always be focusing on. And what happens is people get tied up in all these other things. And my theory is because they don't want to do what I just said. Because guess what's not very fun? What I just said. It's not very fun. It's not very fun to sit and get no's all day. It's not very fun to look at your calendar and realize that Sandy's party 3 days from now only has 3 coming. And you've got to do whatever you can do to get her, talk to her and say you're going to give her an incentive and tell her 5 friends to bring 5 friends of their own. And all of what I'm talking about is not fun. Like going and making a cute bingo game for your team or going and doing blah, 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 like all these things that have nothing to do with your, they're not a great return on your investment.
Right.
So it's really learning what the income producing activities are in your business and then consistently doing them that brings huge success in this business.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said,
Yeah.
I've never put more hours in. As I grew, it's kind of like in my closet. If I go shopping, this is a good example. If I go shopping and I bring something home, I have a certain number of hangers in my closet. If I bring a new thing home, there's something going out of my closet.
Mm-hmm.
If I get promoted, if something happened, then there's something else going off my calendar. I'm not adding work. I'm getting smarter at how I'm working. And what that always consists of is booking parties, host coaching. That's a huge one. Recruiting new people, making time for recruiting conversations for people that are ready. And if they join my team, they get a ton of my attention for about 6 weeks until they're up and running. And then they're up and running. And that's, guess what? They don't need to be up. They don't need all my time. And then the time they get again is if they're a leader.
And it's not that every time you add a new person, they add on to your time indefinitely.
Oh, no.
It's, people come in for a time where they need more focus and then they're off on their own and you are able to turn to somebody else and help bring them on.
And we know that a lot of people that join, I would love to see raising hands here. How many of you guys sign people up and they don't really do anything with the business? Many. That's okay. That could be another, if you look at that as a no. I used to look at it as a no. If that's defeating and you're like, oh, they signed up and they didn't do anything. Guess what? Your next leader's coming because you just signed someone up that didn't do anything, which means there's someone that's going to do something coming your way. We just do the good things for people. We pour into people and we want what's best for them and the rest is up to them. And yeah, it works great when you can have a heart that way, just that I'm giving what I can and the rest is up to you.
Yeah. And to your point about hosting and taking care of your host, the only times my calendar has ever struggled is when I have taken my host for granted and I'm not treating them as valuable as they are, or when I'm not actually paying attention and staying up to my calendar. But if you're treating your host well and appreciating them, and if you're keeping an eye on your calendar and always looking forward, I mean, there's no reason for your calendar not to stay good. Drop my notes here.
And that's the key. That's it, right? That's the key to success. So, yep.
Thank you, Kris. That was helpful and interesting. And I appreciate you taking time to answer some of everyone's questions.
I love it. It's been awesome. You guys have me back again. I would love to come back again.
We'll do
Okay.
it.
All right, see you.